Unlike the first film, Sony seems very dead set on advertising the follow-up to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, so it's really nice to see that Across the Spider-Verse is getting a heavy push on social media. So let's talk about the 9 main characters and their logos that have been teased, and go over each one of them a little bit more in depth. Okay, so let's get right into this. The first logo that they of course revealed, to no one's surprise, is Miles Morales. I am going to go by good faith and goodwill that we don't need to explain anything about this logo or who he is. So let's just move on to the second one, which officially brings us to Spider-Gwen, Gwen Stacy. Of course, she's the second main character / most important character in this franchise, and there's not a whole lot here either. You've seen the first film, you know who she is. Third up is Spider-Man 2099, Miguel OHara. Now, of course, he is one of the antagonists in this, and he was introduced in the post-credit scene of Into the Spider-Verse. We know that as a part of this, he's going to be really important to the entire plot, and he's going to be one of the people that's at the forefront of this entire thing. We obviously know that he's a time traveler from the future, and he seems to be played up more as a serious version of Spider-Man who's trying to cause some sort of well, let's just put it how it is, damage to the other spider people, probably to save his future. He is also joined by Jessica Drew, aka Spider-Woman, and we see that there's quite a few noticeable changes here. Specifically, the fact that she seems to be a whole different version than what we've seen before, more actually integrated to the whole Spider-Verse by actually having spider powers. And also, we see that the logo is somewhat familiar. Yet again, they're still playing with the multiverse, so who knows if this is going to change or remain the same. I assume it won't remain the same because they're not going to stray too far away from what they're doing here, and also drawing the obvious parallel and connection to the comic book version, but you never know. We also know that she's somehow involved with Spider-Man 2099, but beyond that, we have no idea how. After that, we have a brand new, more recent fan favorite character, who of course is SpiderPunk, and as you can see, the lettering there, it stands for Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. He of course by now has built up a fan base of his own, has quite an iconic look with the jacket, with the studs and everything, his guitar. One of the more unique versions that we're going to see in this, and a lot of people are excited to see him just by the whole exposure to the character recently, and I think a lot of it goes in hand with Marvel's Spider-Man video game. Following that, we have Spiderman India. We know very little about this character and his plot and involvement with the bigger picture, but if it's anything like the comics, just imagine a version of Peter Parker in the multiverse that's in India. And of course, there is some very close parallels to Peter Parker, such as having the parents that died off, of course, the use of a multiversal version of Norman Osborn and such. So it'll be interesting to see if they bring any of that into this. Following that, we have a huge fan favorite, Scarlet Spider Ben Reilly. This, by many people, is considered one of the best versions of Spider-Man, and of course he comes as the result of the Clone Saga, which has its place and time to be remembered for better or for worse, but again, Ben Reilly has endured, and his suit remains one of the most iconic in Spider-Man's history, so there's a lot of excitement to see what exactly they do with him, and how exactly he's going to be presented in this, as again, he is a clone of Peter Parker. After that, we have Cyborg SpiderWoman. Very little is known about this, outside of the fact that this character appeared in Edge of Spider-Verse, which of course were the tie-ins that Marvel was doing. So whatever the version here holds in store for us, it can be safely assumed that it's going to be something that nobody knows a whole lot about going into this. And last up is SpiderBite. SpiderBite is another futuristic version of Spider-Man and another variant that is very much integrated into the whole virtual reality social aspects of the world in the future, specifically related to stopping cybercrimes. And this character is expected to be very important in relation to 2099 and what's happening with that entire plot. So there it is, guys, all 9 versions of the main characters. Again, definitely a interesting variety, and I can't wait to see how exactly each character is presented and what they contribute to the plot. I'm super excited for this film, absolutely cannot wait to see more of it. It's coming at us in June, so still relatively close, and we should start seeing a ramp up in marketing just about a month and a half from now. It should be going into overdrive. So which one of these characters are you guys most excited to see? For me personally, outside the two obvious main ones, it's all about Ben Reilly. I'm super excited to see what they do with him, how he's presented, and hopefully he delivers for the fans.